Hey up everyone, welcome to the Rugby League History channel. Tonight I'm going to be bringing you another video, and this one's going to be the worst signings of the 2020 NRL season, in my opinion, of course. Before I get started in this video, thank you very much to everyone out there. I'm at 450 subscribers, an early Christmas present for myself. So thank you everyone that's recently subscribed, and thank you everyone that has supported me from the very beginning. Let's just see how far we can go now, up to 500 subscribers, 600, who knows. It's a big achievement considering that I've just got this cheap iPhone to do all the filming, and I don't have fancy videos, I don't have fancy music and editing and all that keeper. So thank you everyone that's stuck by me for the duration of my channel. Getting into the worst signings of 2020, there wasn't too many bad signings this year. I think on a whole, some of the new signings for every club, they actually did perform and they did do well for their new side, but of course there's always going to be some bad ones. So the first one, BG Leilua, or Joey Leilua, he signed for the West Tigers from Canberra. Before he even started his career with West Tigers, he said, "I'm the best centre in the world, and it's true, and I'm just telling the truth, and it's just a statement." Well, I think he forgot to mention that maybe there's someone called Joseph Manu out there, and there's a couple of other centres that would probably argue that they're the best centre in the world. When he said this, I kind of went, oh, this is going to be a long season for West Tigers and Joey Leilua. It turned out that way. He made 14 appearances for the year. He scored 4 tries. There was a lot of ill discipline. He did cost his team at times. He was very lacklustre. I think West Tigers got severely ripped off. They did pay a hefty price tag for him, and I know a couple of Canberra fans and they were glad to see the back of Joey Leilua. Can he turn around in 2021? We just don't know at this stage, but we'll see how he goes next year. The next player is Weir Egan. He left Penrith and signed with New Zealand at the start of this year. He was tipped to take over the major hooking role at the club. He was tipped to be a starter because Isaac Luke had left the club to go to St George. He was very underwhelming for New Zealand. I know a lot of their fans weren't particularly happy with his performances. Halfway through the year, he was put on the bench. Carl Lawton was put in his place as the starting hooker. At the start of 2021, he was meant to be the bench hooker yet again. I think Carl Lawton was going to get the nod for the starting hooker role, but Carl Lawton's out with the Achilles injury, so I think New Zealand at this stage has got no choice but to put Weir Egan in there. Nathan Brown's tried to put a bit of a spin or a bit of bollocks onto it, saying that Weir Egan could be a hooker that could be at the club for 10 years and he could be the major player in the side, but I don't see that happening. He had a very underwhelming year this year, and I'm not really convinced that he's going to do much next year either. Speaking of New Zealand, the next one, Isaac Luke. He signed for St George from New Zealand. Questions were raised why St George was signing someone like Isaac Luke, considering his age and considering that they got shot of Reece Robson. He went to North Queensland, so there were questions asked why they were signing Isaac Luke for. After only 3 games and some club turmoil, there was accusations that Isaac Luke wasn't happy with the club, or he wasn't happy with the game time, because he did play a couple of games from the interchange bench. Whatever the reason, he said, "Catch us all later, I'm off to Brisbane." He thought that he was going to get the last laugh, but he ended up winning a wooden spoon with Brisbane in 2020. And I bet you at some stages in the year, he was probably thinking to himself, I wish I would have stayed with St George and not gone to Brisbane. The next player on the list is another hooker, Danny Levi. He was signed on a 1-year deal by Manly from Newcastle. He had a very stop-start year, very poor year. Of course, he played his customary game of the season against Parramatta, where he scored his only try for Manly in a victory at Brookfield Oval. For some reason, Danny Levi, he always plays his best game against Parramatta. I don't know. Was he picked on at school by people that went for Parramatta? Was he assaulted by a Parramatta person a long time ago? I'd like to know if you go up with Danny Levi, send me a message and tell me why he always plays his his best game against Parramatta. But at the end of the year, Manly opted not to give Danny Levi a further deal, and now he's currently been shopped around to a few clubs over here in England. So he didn't have a great year, and now his career's on the scrap heap. And in my opinion, the worst signing of the year, it goes to Brodie Croft. He signed from Melbourne and he went to Brisbane. When he was at Melbourne, he was touted as the replacement for Cooper Cronk, who was going to Eastern Suburbs. And then all of a sudden Melbourne went, you can have him, Brisbane, we don't want him. So people were kind of scratching their heads going, why would they let go of the prodigy and why would they let him go and sign with Brisbane? But Brisbane thought that they were going to get this halfback that was going to take the club forward, take him in a new direction. They didn't really get that. He played a number of very poor games in 2020, Brodie Croft. He only made 14 appearances for the year. He was dropped towards the end of the year. There wasn't really much explanation as to why he was dropped, but I think people out there that are Brisbane fans and people that watch the Brisbane games on a weekly basis would know the reason why he was dropped. There's been talks of him being moved around or shopped to other clubs if he doesn't pull his weight in 2021, but I think Brodie Croft was a very poor signing. It's not entirely Brisbane's fault. Brisbane thought that they were getting another player from Melbourne that would be good for them, but obviously it hasn't turned out that way. But that's me worst signings of the 2020 NRL season video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click that like button. If you are enjoying the content but not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm at 450 subscribers at the moment, looking to get to 500 now. And thanks for everyone for taking the time out to watch this video, and I'll catch us all later in the next video. Alright, tatty bye now.